Hey YouTube, Carl here, Seamer 100 Fishing, and I've got a rod review for you guys on a rod that I don't see a lot of people doing reviews on, and it's a great rod. It's really nice, and it's one of them rods that as a channel cat fisherman you get giddy over. Let's get into this review on the Whisker Whip Tangling with Catfish rod. So this is the Tangling with Catfish Whisker Whip series rod, and it's a good one. I'll start with why I bought it. I bought this rod because there's very few rods out there on the market that are aimed directly at channel cat fishermen, and this is one of them. And it's made by an awesome company that stands behind their product, Tangling with Catfish. They've been in business for what, 10 years or so, 10-12 years. A lot of people use their rods, and for good purpose. They work really well. This one here, like I said, is aimed at your channel catfish, and I think it's a great rod. I fished this all summer long, and it was everything that I thought it would be. You know, I have the Rippin Lips Medium action rod, and I was super impressed with that, the construction and all that. And when I saw this rod, I was like, you know, that's got nicer features on it than does the Rippin Lips, but it comes at a price. This rod is $70, $69 with shipping, and you can't get it on Amazon, unfortunately. So if you're a Prime member, you're gonna pay that shipping cost, which really sucks. But in my opinion, was it worth it? Yeah. If I was gonna do it again, I definitely would. The Rippin Lips rod, you can get that on Amazon and get the free Prime shipping if you're a Prime member. So that's an advantage of that over this. But this is a one-off rod. This is kind of like a custom tuned rod for channel catfish, for all spectrums of it, you know, from your 1-2 pounders to all the way up to your trophy size channels, you know. And that really intrigued me, so that's why I got it. I really wanted to experience one of their rods, and I ended up getting 2 of them. But that's why I got it, and that's what this rod is aimed for. So I'll get into some of the features of it. We'll start at the bottom here. It's got a gimbal cap on the bottom, very similar to the medium heavy action version. It's just your standard, you know, gimbal butt. It's kind of slippery. It's you know, it's just a standard gimbal butt, nothing special there. Next up is this cork handle that's got on there, which looks extremely nice. They put some nice cork grips on it, and they're very durable. I've stuck these things in you know, not so great positions for them to be in, and they handle it really well. The cork is really tough. It's not like some of that cheaper cork that, you know, will flake off, and yeah, it's good cork. I haven't had any problems with it. It looks nice. The rod features a aluminum reel seats for your reel. Keeps them on there nice and tight. It's got the double locking nuts with the washer in between of them so that it doesn't back off. That's really nice. It never backs off for me, ever. And it's got that rugged construction. Like, you can tell that this is one of them rods that you buy and you're going to keep it for a while, provided you don't break it, you know. It's going to stand the test of time. You can just tell by these features like that, like the reel seat here. I have a Abu Garcia 6600 C4 on it. I love that reel, but it's a good pairing for this rod, I believe. It's got the 6:3 to 1 gear ratio, which is nice. I like that over the C3, but I have a few C3s as well, the Catfish Specials. But back to the reel seat, it's nice. It's quality. It shows that the manufacturer has pride in the work of the rod. It's really impressive. It doesn't have the little trigger underneath of it that's common in most casting rods, but that's fine, you know. My hands are actually not big enough to really wrap around a trigger grip and the reel at the same time, because I like to palm the reel when I'm pulling in a fish. So it's not a big deal to me, but it is something to take note of if you like that kind of thing. We'll move on up. It's got this really nice hook keeper on there. It's pretty. That's not going to bend under, you know. I mean, if you had a hammer, you could probably bend it down, but under normal use, chances are that's going to stand up pretty well. It's got the nice white and red paint job. This hologrammed Tangling With Catfish decal on there. It says Whisker Whip on it. The eyes, the line guides are real quality on this. Really thick gauged wire, and the guides itself, the guide rings are thick, and I'm telling you that this is not going to break under normal under normal use. It's just not. It's really thick. It's the thickest I've ever seen on a rod. Again, you know, these features like this, they might not locate the fish for you or anything like that, but it's durability. It shows the quality of the rod itself. It shows that whoever made this rod said, you know what, we're going to make it, we're going to put the best stuff on it that we can, and that's reassuring to me. You know, the rest of the, because you can't see the inside of the rod blank, you know. You can't see what's in there, what it's made out of, if it's a cheap rod blank, but signs like the cork and these line guides tell me that they spared no expense, and they wanted to put in, you know, a quality product, which this is. From there, it's pretty much white with red accents on it. I use this with braid. Haven't had any problems with grooving or anything inside of the line guides. But it's white, and you know, that tells me right there. You know, when a rod is white, usually it's because they expect you to be fishing at night so that you can see the rod. And that's a nice little touch, and it's true. You know, if you're fishing at night with one of these guys, you want to be able to see your rod, especially catfishing. They will pull your stuff in. I've had close encounters on the bank with rods, unfortunately. But yeah, that's a nice touch. The white paint job. Some people don't like it. It is what it is. But you know, it's what you like out of your rod. Yeah, all the way up, it's, you know, it's the same deal with these. They get progressively smaller, and they're just they're well constructed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you guys a bend test versus a couple of the rods I have. I got a medium heavy Tangling With Catfish rod, and I've got the Rippin Lips Medium action. And I'm going to do a bend test and show you guys how this bends in comparison to those two, because that's what I like to see is you know, how the rod bends under stress. You know, what is it going to do under stress? And that's what I like to see in a review. So we'll get to that right now, guys. So to conduct this test, we're going to take a 1 gallon milk jug. It's got about half full water, and it weighs 5 pounds, which let me show you here. Yeah, right around 5 pounds. But we're going to take that, we're going to hang these off these rods and see how they flex. Stay tuned. Okay, for flex test 1, we got the Tangling with Catfish rod, the Whisker Whip. So we're going to see how this thing bends with the 5 gallons. Look at the bend in that rod. It's got a nice bend in it. Very parabolic. It's bending even down at the close to the handle. And this is just on 5 pounds. So it's got a lot of flex in it, and that's nice. I like that. That's one of the features that I like in a channel catfish rod. Makes the fight feel a lot more fun. But yeah, you can see that thing's got a big bend in it. Very nice. Okay, test number 2. We've got the monster rod version of the Tangling with Catfish rod. This is a medium heavy. It's the bigger one, the step up from the Whisker Whip. Let's see how this bends. Oh, that's got a good bend in it. It's got a bend in the very tip of the rod, but about halfway, maybe halfway to 3/4, it stops bending. And that's commonly called a fast action tip, which this is. But unlike the Whisker Whip, it's only going to bend in the half to 3/4 length of the rod. So here we got the medium action Rippin Lips rod. Same deal, 5 gallon or 5 pound weight on the end. We're gonna see how this thing bends. Whoa! It's got a very similar action to the Tangling with Catfish rod. Very similar. It's got a nice parabolic bend. You can see in the handle. Close to the handle, it's starting to bend as well. The whole thing really bends nicely. But yeah, it's very similar to the Tangling with Catfish. Okay, for the next test, we got a 2 gallon or a 1 gallon jug filled with 2 pounds of water in it. I measured it with my fish scale, and this is what the rod looks like from a dead hang with 2 pounds of water in it. As you can see, there's quite a bend all the way through the blank. You can even see at the bottom there, it's bending, and it's bending. Really nice bend. That's what I like in my channel catfish rods, that bend right there. It's perfect in my opinion. Alright, let's go look at the Rippin Lips, see what it does in this test. Okay, same deal, same test as the Tangling Catfish Whisker Whip that I just did. This is the Rippin Lips Medium rod. Yeah, it's got a nice bend to it as well. Looks like it has a little more faster action, you know, where the tip will bend more so than the rest of the blank, but you can see the rest of the blank is also bending slightly, but it is bending. That's nice. This seems a little more heavier than that Tangling with Catfish rod, the Whisker Whip anyways. But yeah, this is another one of the rods that I like to use, so just for comparison purposes, that's pretty much what it looks like. We got the Tangling with Catfish medium heavy next. Okay guys, same test as before, but we're using the medium heavy Tangling with Catfish rod. And you can see how stiff this rod is. That's what she said. But not very much bend on 2 pounds at all. Well, actually 2 pound 3 ounces. All these rods had 3 ounce weights on them. But that is a stiff rod. That is like a rod that's only gonna bend on fish that are probably about 35 pounds. But it's great for that. But for comparison purposes, yes, the Whisker Whip does bend significantly more than does the medium heavy version. It's almost like they could actually make a medium heavy action just to cover that ground in between of this, because I fish this rod just for shits and grins and for catfish, channel catfish, and it was just a winch. I mean, it was just overpowering. But this thing can sling some big weights. That's what it's good for. But for sportiness, it leaves a little to be desired if you're a channel catfish fisherman. Again, it's aimed at big trophy class blues, where you have for fishermen who have a significant chance at catching something in the 50 to 100 pound range. This will do it for you for sure. But that's just a comparison in the bends. So guys, that concludes our bend test. I'm going to go ahead and tell you my final verdict on this rod. And I've been fishing it for 8 months, so I've got quite, and you know, I fish probably 3, 4, 5 times a week during the summer. And this thing is a great rod. It comes in at $70, which is kind of like a mid-range rod. You know, there's more that are more expensive, but for what you get in comparison to other rods that are in its class, like this Rippin Lips Medium action, you get a lot more durability, I believe. This Reel Seed, for instance, just quality. That's not gonna break. It's not gonna break. Whereas in the Rippin Lip, you can see here, you get the plastic with looks like a thin metal coating over the plastic, and this here is just in a different league of its own. You're looking at really thick line guides. You got the nice cork, which a lot of people like. Some people don't. But when you've had quality cork versus junk cork, you'll notice that over time the cork will actually start to disintegrate, and I haven't had any problems with that at all with these. It's just a high quality cork. Don't think that this is that cheap stuff that flakes off in a year. It's absolutely not. It's very quality. I've jammed this in lots of rocks on the bank, you know, for a fishing rod holder, and it looks just as good as when I got it. So my final verdict is, if you're a channel cat fisherman, go ahead and get this bad boy. It might actually change your view on what your favorite rod is. And it's close between the Rippin Lips and this one. Like I said, for channel cat fishermen, that medium Rippin Lips, great rod, love it. I have 5 of them now. I got 2 breakdowns and I got 3 one pieces. Great rod. But I'm going to give this rod a little more of an edge because of the quality features that it has. It's really nice. You probably get a lifetime of fishing out of this easily. Not to say that you won't with the Rippin Lips. You certainly will with that one as well. But when it comes down to the feeling of the rod, I believe that this one takes the cake, action-wise. But it does come in almost twice the price as the Rippin Lips Medium. So if you like these features are important to you, like the ones that I just pointed out with the reel, seed, line guides, then go ahead and get this one. You won't be disappointed. And they have really good, Tangling with Catfish has some really good customer service. They get back with you, and you know, I have nothing but good things to say with them. I had one of the rod tips break on me. I have no idea what happened with it, but I was just reeling in a fish and the rod tip broke, and they sent me out another rod pretty quickly. So customer service, quality of the rod, I believe it's worth every penny of the $70 that you'll spend for this. So thanks for watching this video. I know it was a little long. I've got other gear reviews that I'm gonna do. I might do a gear review on this Abu C4, maybe do a little comparison between the C3 and the C4, because I have both of them. And I got this Daiwa BG4000 rod that I've been fishing for a while. It is an excellent reel. And I got a Casking Sharky 2 bait feeder. I got a Sharky 3 bait feeder. I got a Sharky 2 1500 that I've been using for bluegill fishing. May do some reviews on that. I got the Chad Ferguson, the Monster rod, medium heavy. Got that as well. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks for watching.